Hey, you guys. I still sound like I've been smoking a ton of cigarettes. Sorry. I know my voice probably won't get much better as long as I'm talking, but I'm a talker. You know, what can I say? What are you guys up to? Oh, let me quiet that. I don't like hearing myself talk. I know. Oh, doing a report. What are you doing a report on? I'm gonna just say maybe it has something to do with you being an EMT. I don't know. Are you in school, Scarlett? Hey, Lisa. Hey, you guys. Okay. So you're not in school, but it's something to do with your work. Like y'all have to do some type of reports, like before you go on. Oh, thank you. Sean got me this jacket. It's a North Face jacket, and I like it. I like the color of it too. I would have never picked it out for myself because I just don't go with like colorful things very often. But Sean literally picks out really like shoes. Hey, Cheryl. If he picks out shoes for me, they're always like the best. Clothes, he has a really good taste as far as like dressing me. Oh, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Hey, Candace. Oh. I hope your babies feel better. Well, I'm trying to get to chapter 19. That's where we're going to start at. Hey, Toasted Network. I honestly don't know. Hold on, I can kind of give you a roundabout. Okay, so we are starting chapter 19. And okay, chapter 19 is page 151, and it has 284 pages. So it's taking us a little bit, you guys. I'm sorry. That's what it's like, because I can't. Oh, I hope you feel better. I thought you said that your kids were sick, but I hope you and your kids feel better soon. Yes, probably if I stopped talking so much, I would feel better, but it's not gonna happen. I can't stop talking. Literally today, I was on the phone for a while with this one lady. Ew. Not pneumonia. Hey, Kayla Ray. Oh, thank you. Right back at you. I can only see your little picture, but it's pretty. So, I know I'm getting started a little later than normal. Kennedy just fell asleep a minute ago. Sean's not here, so, you know. So what have you guys been up to? I know, right? You guys, Kennedy is wild. Like, she does what she wants. The other day, we walked in the dollar store, and it was so funny because they had this table set up. It was, like, full of toys, and even toys was sitting up underneath the table. Hey, Chakotay. Even toys was sitting up underneath the table. Hey, you guys. And Kennedy walks in, and she sees this bag of blocks. This. Okay? This bag of blocks right here. Hey, Teresa. It's sitting on the floor underneath the table. So I have the buggy, like we're going. She literally doesn't even stop at the table. She just, the bag is sitting like right here. She walks past and she just goes boop and just keeps walking. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you just grab that like you know you're gonna get it. And, well, you know, she got it. But it was like literally so cute. She never missed a step. She was just like the bag is sitting there. She's just like, boop. Keep it moving. She never looked up at me. She never looked around. It was like, that's mine. Keep going. I was like, girlfriend, what are you doing? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kathy, I hope you get to feeling better ASAP. I don't think I've ever had pneumonia, but I usually get like bronchitis and strep throat like every winter for some reason. She is just she's the cutest, but she's also like the craziest. I know. I've been drinking, I did earlier today and last night. I did drink, it was hot water with lemon and with honey in it and sea salt. And I stirred it up and I drank it. Yeah, that's what it was. And a couple of days ago, it was hurting so bad that I literally gurgled. I gurgled peroxide. Ugh. Have you guys ever put peroxide in your mouth? It's not. It tastes like but it, oh, thank you, Afflicted Soul. Hey, Candace, Cheryl says she sent you a Facebook message and she hopes that's okay. But literally what it done is like the back of my throat was like infected, you know what I'm saying? Like I had strep throat or whatever. So literally I'm like gurgling it and I can feel it just like bubbling up and I'm like, it's just disgusting. And my voice sounds kind of sexy. What? I used to have some of that, Cheryl. Shots of whiskey. Might as well. If I could, maybe I would, but I know. Check on your friends with sassy toddlers. We are not okay. Not okay. Raspy rock and roll voice. Like, oh, like Steven Tyler, like Janis Joplin. Like they have like raspy voice. Who else? Macy Gray. What's up, Crispy Fisher? Christy Fisher. Rod Stewart. Exactly. But I can't sing at all. At all. Flossie can sing. I can't. Oh, thank you, Rhea. Stevie Nicks. Okay. Cheryl, I know you do. Cheryl says she love you guys. Cheryl, Pink One, 777, has met Steven Tyler several times, and he'd be friendly with Cheryl, ain't he? Or should I not say that? Should I not say that? I don't want to tell your business, Cheryl, unless you tell me that I can't. Then I tell it. Yeah, Pink One 777 has met Steven Tyler several times. He's like loved up on her with some sugies. It's my sick voice. Cheryl sings too. So, what is going on? Like, we can talk for a minute and then we'll get started on the book because it is kind of late. I know out of two, I never heard Cheryl sing. She'll have to send us an audio. Hey, listen to me. What's up? Abe is doing okay. They are lowering his oxygen. When I talked to Flossie earlier, they were like trying to drop his oxygen to see. What's up, you mean? They like, what's up? Listen to me. I said, what's up? Like, hey, what's up? I'm sorry, Joy. I'm sorry you don't like the book. What would I want you to sing? Well, you would probably have to sing something from like Aerosmith, since I know you're like obsessed with him. And I figure you probably already done that because you've been on stage with him before. So sure. Oh, you told me you sang with him before. So yes, I love root beer. Five times she has been on stage with Steven Tyler. And you've sang with him all 5 times? Yeah, Joy, I know you don't like this one. And we're going to cover like 2 chapters or 1 chapter tonight. But don't worry. Tomorrow I'll be back to like my teen mom. And if you want to skip this one, I completely understand, darling. A lot of people, I mean, sometimes I have 200 to 300 people in here, you know, to listen to the book. So some people want to hear it and they don't want to buy it, you know. So I didn't buy it. It was sent to me by a friend of mine, one of my mods. Thank you. So, you know, I understand if you don't care. Wait, what was the pun? Oh! What's up, Jubes? Yes, send me clips. Hey, Trisha. The weather is cold. It's cold. I know it right over my head. Well, it's actually not profiting. She's not profiting off us because I was given a link to the book. I didn't buy it, and nobody in the chat bought it. So we're actually like getting to hear it for free. And honestly, I think it's turning people off because it's written so horribly, honestly. Thank you, Joy. We hardly ever get snow. Like never, never, never. Like 5 times in 10 years maybe, but it doesn't stick. It's like very thin, and by midday it's like melted. Okay, you guys, we will go ahead. We've been on for like 13 minutes. We're gonna go ahead. Yeah, I didn't buy it. You know, I contemplated buying it because the lady said she was going to give some of the money to charities, so I just kind of believed her, but I did not buy it. It was given to me by a moderator named Denise, not a moderator, a subscriber named Denise. So, and the people that now come here to listen, they don't have to buy it either, so we're not really, you know, we don't have sandstorms here. No. Okay, we'll go ahead and get into the book. You guys can kind of chit-chat in the chat. I cannot really see the chat while I'm reading the book. So just kind of keep that in mind. If something is said and I don't really see it. Right. Yeah, Cheryl, I understand. A lot of people say that. I actually have his book. And I've been trying to read that as well. So, yeah. That book is good. Flossie's finished it. Flossie finished his book in 1 day. Now what I've read so far, it is a good book. It's written horribly. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, if I would have paid money for this book, I would be extremely mad at how horribly it was written. It's very hard to keep up with. It's all over the place. Okay, so chapter 19 is locating Shanann and the girls. So the agents come back in the room with Ronnie, and Ronnie tells them that he needs to use the restroom and contact his daughter, who is Chris's sister. The agent and Ronnie agreed that they would kind of talk later. The agent walked Ronnie to the lobby and returned back into the interview room. The agent returned to the room with a colored photograph that had been taken by a drone that day. The drone had flown over Survey 319, and the image showed like the battery tanks and the field. There was a white image that was actually a sheet at the bottom of the photograph. The agents asked Christopher to show them where the girls were. He asked the agent how old the picture was, and the agent told him it was taken that day. He looked at the photograph and pointed to the patch of dirt in the field below where the batteries were located. Christopher said that Shanann was buried in the same at that location. He pointed to the tanks and said Bella and Celeste were in the tanks. The agent gave him a pen and asked him to mark where everyone was located. So he put an S where Shanann was and a B and a C on each oil tank to indicate where Bella and Celeste were located. They were in separate tanks. Hey, Amanda. Amanda, when I was going in to get this link for this book, I saw that you emailed me. So when we get done, I will read that and respond. So he marked on a photograph that was taken by a drone. The agent brought it in there, laid it out in front of him, and said, show us where everyone is at. So he actually put like a B and a C on the tanks where the girls were located, and he put an S where Shanann was located. So Christopher signed the bottom of the photograph, and it was labeled with the time and the date. The agent asked if the girls were in the tank, and Chris said yeah. And he asked if someone, he then asked him if someone that didn't know what they were doing could open the tanks. And he said yeah. And the agent asked him what was in the tanks, and he replied oil and water. He asked Christopher about the sheet, and he said that the sheet was what Shanann had been wrapped in. The agent asked what the girls were wrapped in, and he said they were just in their pajamas. The agent said if the girls were wrapped in their blanket. He asked if the girls had been wrapped in their blankets, and Christopher said no. God, man. The agents asked where were the girls' blankets and animals, and he said they probably blew away with the wind. Like, come on. He said that the blankets and stuffed animals were left by the sheet, which was near Shanann's grave. He explained he dug Shanann's grave with a shovel he had in the back of his work truck. He said he always had a shovel with him at work. The agent asked how Shanann was dressed, and he said she was wearing a black or gray t-shirt and blue underwear. The agent asked Christopher how much time it went by when he put her back in bed deceased until he put her in the back of his truck. He said it only took minutes. The agent asked if he was sure the girls' blankets and stuffed animals were not going to be in the tanks, and he said no, they weren't. Chris reiterated the blankets and stuffed animals were left by the sheet and by that gravesite. The agent asked him what the girls were wearing, and he said their nightgowns. He said that Celeste was wearing a pink nightgown with birds on it, and and Bella's nightgown was a unicorn or believe on it. The agent asked him how someone could get the girls out of the tanks, and he said the girls were inside 20-foot tanks, which had hatches at the top. The agent asked him how far down the girls were in the tank, and he replied it depended on the fluid level of the tank. The agent asked Christopher if there was any chance his baby monitor recorded anything, and he said no. He then asked what he thought made Shanann snap. He said it was Shanann knowing he had an affair, and even though he didn't admit anything, he said Shanann needed him to admit it, but he refused. He said he was numb, but he felt strangling was over fast. The agent asked if there was any way her neck could have been broken, and he said no, he didn't think so. He described strangling her with both hands. The agent asked if Shanann was strangling Celeste with one or two hands. Chris said he came up from behind, so he wasn't sure. He explained he knew Shanann was on top of her because the monitor was black and white. He explained he knew Shanann was on top of her because the monitor was black and white because it was dark. Yeah, this is probably extremely hard to listen to when, you know, you're laying beside your babies. The agent asked him why he thought Shanann would hurt the girls, and he said they both love those girls more than anything or anyone. He said people in his family has always told him they believed Shanann was unstable. He said his friends also told him they thought she was unstable. He said, however, he didn't want to paint a bad picture of her. The agent said it didn't look good. He asked if there would be something on the girls other than the cause of death being Shanann's hands. The agent told him it was hard to believe that Shanann did it, and Chris said, I know. The agent said, asked if it was possible that Chris killed one of the girls and Shanann did the other daughter. And he asked if there was a possibility that they were going to find his handprints on the girls' necks, and he said, oh, Lord, no. The agent told him that they would be able to compare the diameter of the finger marks on the girl's neck, and he said he understood. The agent asked Chris, you know, what he was thinking about, and he just said, I let my family down, I let my dad down, my mom, my sister, niece, nephew, friends, co-workers, everyone. The agent asked him about about the point when he witnessed Shanann on top of Cece and he pulled her off. Didn't you think about calling an ambulance? He said no, because she was blue and limp. He said he had never seen anything like that in his life. Chris said Celeste was laid over. She wasn't moving at all, and wasn't gasping for breath. He said she was just totally blue. The agent told him that she had been doing her job for a long time, and most parents cannot fathom their child is dead, even if their kid is stiff and blue. He said parents always want to call to see if anyone can revive their child. She asked him to tell her what was going on in his head, and he said the rage I felt for what she did, it just took over. She asked if he agreed it sounded weird, and he said, I understand. I see where you're coming from. She told him she would hate for Shanann to get a bad, rap if she didn't have anything to do with it, and he said, I know. She said it wouldn't be fair. He replied, I know. She asked him if he wanted to tell the truth about what happened, and he said it was the truth. He said, I did not hurt those girls. She asked him the question again, and he said, yes, because I did not hurt those girls. She told him she didn't think he meant to hurt the girls, and he said, I didn't hurt them. She told him that he didn't save them either, and he said, I know that. He said none of it made sense. The agent asked him if he was sure Shanann didn't catch him in Celeste's room, and he said, no, God, no. The agent told him that it looked like he found a new life, and the only way to get the new life was to get rid of the old life. The other agent said he believed Christopher killed the girls before Shanann came home, and he said no, and his voice started trailing off as he said, this is the truth. He said he's not a monster. He did not kill his babies. He asked what would happen when the cause of death come back to him. I guess the agent asked, do you know what'll happen if the cause of death comes back to you? And Christopher said it wouldn't come back to him because he was 100% sure it couldn't come back to him. The agent said, well, who would it come back to then? He said it'll come back to Shanann. She was on top of Celeste. He said Bella was sprawled out, laying on the bed. He said his fingertips could not be on Celeste's neck, and the fingertips would belong to Shanann. He said he did not witness it, but she also killed Bella. The agent asked why he would take the bodies out of the house. Why would he take the bodies out of the house and bury them? He said he didn't know what to do. He said he was afraid of what everything looked like. He said, my 2 babies are dead, and I just did that to my wife. It was a nightmare. The agent said it looked like Shanann was a pretty good mom. He said, I was a pretty good dad as well. You don't know a person until you don't know a person. The agent said, I would hate for someone who didn't know Shanann, Bella, or Celeste, who couldn't defend themselves, to have someone lie about them. She asked him why he didn't put Shanann in the tanks, and he said he didn't know what to do. He estimated she was buried approximately about 2 feet down in the ground. He said it took him about 20 to 30 minutes to dig the grave. The agents asked how often the tanks are checked, and he said about once a week. The agent asked if he wants someone else to find the girls, and he said, the agent asked him if he wanted someone else to find the girls, and he said he didn't know what else to do. He said he was going to serve Ch.19 that morning anyway and didn't know what else to do. The agent asked him what it meant in a former interview when he said that something happened to his wife and daughters, which was an act of pure evil. He said he was referring to the evil he witnessed when Shanann was on top of Celeste. He said he felt evil for what he done to Shanann. The agent asked him again what he witnessed in Celeste's bedroom. He said Shanann was wearing the same clothes she was wearing when he buried her. The agent asked him if Shanann ever went to bed when she got home, and he replied, all of that is true. The agent told him he believed Shanann may have been up purchasing hair products at 2:30 a.m. on her cell phone, and her credit card was declined. And he said he wasn't aware of the purchase if it occurred. The agent asked if Shanann got angry with Christopher because there wasn't any money, and he said he wasn't aware of the purchase. The agent asked Christopher if it was possible that Shanann could have a black eye, and he said no. He said he did not punch or slap Shanann. He then asked if Shanann would have a stab mark on her body. Yes, at this point he is telling the detectives at this point that he killed Shanann because she killed Bella and Celeste. That's what he's telling the detectives at this point. And the agent asked if the coroner would find out that Shanann was poisoned, and Christopher said no. The agent asked what he and Nikki had talked about before his wife got home, and he said they always talk. They were just talking about their day. He said she also knew about the disappearance by what she saw on the news. He also said Nikki didn't know his wife was pregnant, but she did now, and he was afraid to tell her because he felt that if she knew, that she wouldn't have gone on a date with him. She knew he was married with kids. He then asked the agent if they were going to talk to her, and they said yes. The agent asked him if Nikki was going to tell them she knew he was going to kill his wife, and he said no. He said Nikki just knew that they were going to hang out more once he had his own place. And Christopher said she, genuinely liked me. He begged the agents not to put Nikki's name in the news because she had been through enough in her life. The agent asked if he was sorry for what he did, and he said, I wish I hadn't lost control and got on top of her, and then I did that, referring to dumping them in the, oil battery tanks and burying Shanann. He apologized for lying. The agent told Christopher he believed there was a reason he done this, and he said, there's a reason why I came in, because, there's a reason I didn't come in with a lawyer either. So I just this is going to happen. So the agent told Christopher that he was struggling with the fact that so many people would say he was a good person. There was an equal amount of people that would say the same thing about Shanann. Christopher replied, I know. And the agent said, I'm really struggling with this. And Christopher again said, I know. The agent asked how he could prove that he didn't kill the girls. And he said they could compare, the hand marks on the girls' necks. The agent asked if he was sure that that they would not have his hand marks on their necks and they weren't smothered. And he said, they should have been smothered. No. Bella, I don't know, but Celeste, she was on top of her. Her head was to the side. The agent asked if he saw that Shanann might have used a pillow on Celeste, and he said no. Good night, Jube Jubes. The agent asked Chris why were there sheets inside his kitchen trash can. He said he used a fitted sheet to wrap Shanann in to take her to the site. He said the flat sheet and pillowcases, they were left over and he didn't know what to do with them, so he just threw them away. The agent asked him why he didn't try to hide the sheet out of the oil site, and he said he was just so scared he didn't know what to do. The agent asked him if anyone come up to him, and he said no. He knew his co-workers were on their way out to the oil site. The agent told Christopher they took the electronics from his house, and they asked him to provide them with the passwords. So he wrote all the passwords down. The agent asked if he had any questions, and he just said he needed to use the bathroom. The agent asked Christopher if he had any weapons on him, and he said no. They did a pat down. They escorted him to the bathroom, and then they returned. The two agents returned to the room and asked Christopher if he was sure Bella and Celeste were both in the tanks, and he said yes. He put them in the tanks by the hatch at the top. He said he walked up the stairs, opened the hatch. The agent asked if it was hard to get them in the tanks, and he said no. The agent asked if he had to push the girls to get them in the tank, and he said not really. The agent asked if Shanann was buried because she was too big to fit in the tanks, and he said yeah. He then asked if the girls were in separate tanks, and he said yeah. The agent told him the detectives on the scene could hardly put their arms through the tank opening. Christopher drew like an imaginary circle on the table to show the approximate diameter of the hatch. He said he didn't know how much fluid was in the tanks. The agent asked if he could hear them drop, and he replied Bella's tank sounded emptier than Celeste. The agent asked if he felt Bella hit the bottom, and he said he heard a splash. The agent asked him if he was sure he didn't put the girls in the tanks when they were alive, and he said, no, God, no, God, no. Christopher said there was no way the girls were alive when he dropped them in the tanks. The agent asked him if the coroner was going to find any resuscitation marks on the girls, like from CPR or something, and he said no. He asked, like from CPR, and they said yeah, and he said no. The agent asked if he knew CPR, and he said he took a class one time at work, which was 2 years ago. He said the class was used on adult dummies, and he wouldn't even know how much pressure to apply to a child. He confirmed that the girls were gone, so he didn't even try to resuscitate them. The agent asked if he ended up checking on Bella, and he said yes. He said Bella was blue in the face and not moving. He didn't hear anything such as a pulse or a beat of any kind. They allowed Ronnie to come into the room and tell Christopher goodbye, as an officer was going to drive him to a hotel for the night. Ronnie told Christopher the police took his Lexus. Ronnie said the other detectives he had talked to said Christopher changed his story a few times. Ronnie asked Christopher if the baby monitor was upstairs or downstairs, and Chris said it was upstairs. Ronnie said he thought it was in the kitchen. Ronnie told him that he loved him no matter what. Ronnie said he was interviewed and told the detectives there was no way he would that Chris would ever hurt his children. Ronnie told him it was a problem that he didn't call the police. Christopher agreed. Ronnie said that they just have to prove that it wasn't him that killed the girls. Ronnie said it was too bad the baby monitors didn't record. He hugged Christopher and he left the department. Once the agents come back into the room and asked Christopher to clarify the size of the hatch, he asked him to compare the size to a paper plate. He estimated the hatch as twice the size of a paper plate. The agent asked him if he had to squeeze the girls into the hatch. Christopher said It wasn't right. He said he put the girls into the hatch feet first, and he described the girls with their arms stretched like above their head. He asked why he put them in separate tanks. He answered that he wasn't thinking at that point, and he was just scared out of his mind, didn't know what to do. Christopher said he walked up the stairs and put one of the girls in the tank, then returned with the second daughter and put her in the tank. The agent asked if he had to cut the girls up or anything, and he said no. He assured the agents that he put the girls in the tank batteries. Okay, so chapter 20, we're covering the body, bringing home Shanann, Bella, and Celeste. Bringing the girls home. This was the objectives of the agents that day. Many people helped in finding and recovering the bodies. It wasn't an easy task, but the men and women that undertook this had no idea they would need emotional help themselves when they were done. No one there that day had ever had to do anything like this. To look around the setting in Colorado's vast open land, the survey 219 was actually a ranch that had been rented by Anadarko. The fields were thick with sunflowers. It was a beautiful scene, which took part in such evil and darkness. That would be the final resting place for Shanann, Bella, Nico, Celeste. If you listen closely, there was almost whispers of something hidden beneath. Sorry, guys, hold on. You can actually report them for like hate speech. If they come in with something like that, you can report it for hate speech, and YouTube will shut it down. Oops. Okay, so I know, like, for all the comments to put hate speech on, you put hate speech on a live stream that's reading a book about a man that murdered his pregnant wife and 2 daughters. That's pretty sad, but that's the world that we live in, you guys. Unfortunately, some kids didn't have better raising. Okay, so on August 15th, 2018, around 2 p.m., 2 CBI agents met with other police agents and some of Anadarko's and people from Anadarko at the Love's truck stop in Hudson, Colorado. They had been requested by the Frederick Police Department to assist in searching the area for the area around the oil well site. They were searching with a small unmanned aerial system for anything that might be related to the disappearance of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste. They were led to the site by the worker from Anadarko. One of the agents confirmed from Anadarko that they had permission to search the area. These agents, they advised the agents that this is where Christopher had come to the site that morning for work. Actually, you know, like on my screen, honestly, like if I go into my settings, I can actually put in words that cannot be displayed on my chat. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe tomorrow go into my settings and words like that, make it to where they're not allowed to be put in my chat. I just don't even want to type nasty words like that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, but oh well. But that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to go and make sure that words like that cannot be even put in the chat. Okay. So, it may be just comments. I don't know. I'll have to see. I'll do what I can, though, because I don't want something like that popping up on my channel. So, when they arrived at the site, the Anadarko employee, like, explained the layout of all the land, and how it was surrounded by barbed wire, where the main site was. He explained the south side of the site, the northeast, where the well was, and where the small tanks were, where the two larger tanks were, where they held water. He explained that the water in the smaller tanks was removed from the larger tanks as the oil and water separated. So they just kind of explained where everything was and how everything kind of worked. The two agents set up Matrix 1, and they completed the UAV mission checklist. The agent piloted the SUAS and started by taking overall photos of the area and the oil well site. He then began a systematic search inside the fenced area and started by flying over the south side. Within a few minutes, he discovered what appeared to be some type of white cloth fabric in the field of the south of the site. He requested that an agent walk out to where the fabric was to see if he could determine what it is. An eerie feeling fell around them. Somehow they knew something was not right. As the agent walked towards the material, he came across an area where the ground had been disturbed, as if somebody had been digging there. He reported his findings to the agent. At that time, he was told to go back to their vehicle, as he had been able to get close enough to the material to identify it as a bed sheet. Thank you, Cassandra. The agents realized it matched the bed sheet that had been seen in the kitchen garbage at Chris White's home during the search. The agents then reported that they had discovered where the ground was disturbed. The agents then took the SUAS and photographed the well site from the south, incorporating the sheet and the disturbed ground into his photographs. He also took photographs of the disturbed ground and located the head of a rake in the dirt. He later located the handle of the rake in the east side where the ground was disturbed. There wasn't much left for the imagination. They pretty much knew what they were going to find. And it would be worse than they could ever imagine. The agents both then went out to the field to verify that the item was a sheet. They approached the sheet by circling around the fence line to the south from the west and approached the sheet from the south. They were able to confirm it was a sheet and also located two black garbage bags with red drawstrings in the field near the sheet. After identifying the sheet, they came back to the vehicles the same way they went in. Later, the two agents went to the third agent, and they went around the fence line to the south from the west and approached the sheet from the south again. One of the agents confirmed the pattern on the sheet matched the pattern from the Watts residence, and that it was a fitted sheet, which was the type of sheet missing from the Watts residence. I wonder why so many people had to approach it from different angles and confirm that it was a bed sheet. While they were waiting for further instructions, another agent came up and advised them that Christopher had confessed to killing Shanann, Celeste, and Bella. The agent said he disposed of the bodies somewhere near the oil site where they were. Matt. Later on, an agent brought over and showed the others one of the pictures he had taken showing the disturbed ground. They were told Christopher had marked on the picture where he had disposed of the body. The disturbed ground had initials written on it. Yeah, he did get a life sentence. But he seems to think that he could get out, actually, according to what I heard. And each of the oil tanks, she put in each storage tank had initials written on them. They're not storage tanks. In the book, she actually put each storage tank. He had, he said Shanann was buried on the ground, and Celeste and Bella, each of their bodies were inside the tanks. Yeah, in the books, she actually said, and each storage tank had initials written on them. I guess she just kind of maybe got caught up in typing and said storage tanks. One of the agents redeployed the SUAS and photographed oil storage tanks where Celeste and Bella's body were presumed to be. I'm not sure why she's calling it storage tanks, but CBI's crime scene unit arrived on the scene and requested that they take more photos of the oil storage tanks. I guess maybe they are oil storage tanks. I don't know. The police identified the freshly moved dirt and went about removing Shanann's body from the grave. During the extraction, the agents bagged Shanann's hands and also placed a clean sheet at the bottom of the cadaver bag in an attempt to preserve any evidence that may be present but not visible at the time. They removed her body from the scene around midnight. Shanann's body was so decomposed they could not identify her by pictures that they had, but because Chris telling authorities where they buried her, they was sure that it was her. They should have made him go, absolutely. You know, her mom said, Shanann's mom said that in the middle of the night her phone rang and she answered, and they said, we think, you know, we found her. We need you to identify her. And she asked the guy, she said, is she beautiful? And he said, yes. And she said, does she have dark hair? And he said, yes. And she goes, that's my daughter. Which is so sad, you know, like, is she beautiful? Like, oh my God. And she was like, and he, of course, well, of course she is, you know. But she was like decomposed and already, it's freaking horrible. After the grid search was complete, they did dig around the gravesite with shovels in an attempt to locate Bella and Celeste, their blankets and stuffed animals, because they didn't know if maybe he had buried them. No blankets or stuffed animals were ever located, or were located. A short time later, Weld County deputy and forensic pathologist arrived on the scene to assist with the recovery effort. The CBI contacted an agent from the Colorado State Hazardous Materials Section with an ongoing investigation. On 8/16/2018 at 5 a.m., the agent from CBI sent a text message to agents with the Colorado State Patrol Hazardous Materials Section, advising them to contact him in reference to a CBI request. At 5:04, the trooper texts back and advised that he would be en route to Rogan, Colorado. At 5:30, the CBI agent had a phone conversation with the trooper of the hazmat team to assist in recovering deceased victims from crude oil tanks in southwest Weld County. This stemmed from a case that Frederick police were investigating where 3 murders of a family were missing in their jurisdiction. Investigators had reason to believe 2 of the missing persons were deceased and dumped in Anadarko petroleum drill site tanks. They were asked to meet the CBI agents 7:30 on the north side of Rogan exit 176. CBI agents arrived and they followed them to a remote Anadarko crude tank battery site north of Rogan. Representatives from Frederick Police, Anadarko Petroleum, DT Welding, and Northern Plains Trucking were already on the scene at the tank battery. There were two 400-barrel crude oil tanks at this location. An Anadarko employee met with everyone on the scene and talked about the plan to offload both crude oil tanks and on-site safety. At 8:54 a.m., the trooper contacted the Morgan County Dispatch Center to ask for a member of the Wiggins Fire Department to contact him. At 9:02, the trooper was contacted by someone from the fire department. The trooper basically told him about the recovery effort and requested that a brush truck and a tender to respond to the scene. At 9:36, a person from the fire department called and stated he had a brush truck and a tender headed to Rogan to the staging area. They were advised to flag any items that did not belong on the ground in the area. They walked to the east, then along the east fence to the north. CSP personnel did not see anything that appeared new or out of the ordinary to the environment. Northern Plains Trucking had tanker trucks on scene and were methodically pumping crude oil out of the tanks on the east to the east first. The crude oil was first being drained into a metal pool. A hose with a screening device at the end of the pump of the crude oil. End of it pumped the crude oil out with the metal pool and into the tanker truck. CBI agents were watching the metal pool for any items that may be evidence in the case. They weren't in trash bags. He said he put them in feet first and their hands over their head. Oh, Heather, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you guys for being here and listening. No matter what I'm doing, you guys are here. So thank you. An Anadarko employee used a 4-gas monitor to constantly monitor the air around the metal pool to stop work if the air becomes toxic or flammable. While the first crude tank was being offloaded, one of the troopers, along with 2 CBI agents, put rope handles on 2 containment pools. They anticipated the bodies to be covered in crude oil and were going to use the pool to put each of the bodies in once recovery would take place. The first tank was emptied enough to start opening the rear manway on the tank. The DT workers took most of the 64 bolts off of the tank door and continued to pump off what crude oil was seeping from the bottom door. The agents went up to the top of the tank and looked in the hatch, and he could see what looked like a body face down on the south side of the tank. The agent took photos through the opening. He also photographed and measured the opening to be approximately 8 inches in diameter. The trooper and the FBI agent donned the proper personnel, protective equipment, and finished removing the rear door of the first tank. They had DT welding employees move to an area not in view of the recovery. They used a squeegee to remove as much crude sludge from the manway entrance as they could. They put 2 hydrocarbon booms in the entrance to the manway to help hold back the crude sludge so room could be made. They had a piece of plywood to use when entry could be made. Then they had a brief meeting to discuss the process of removing the body. The agent then donned structural firefighting gear and readied their SCBA. They donned gas masks and waited at the manway. The CBI agent made entry to the tank, and the trooper was not far behind him. There was a body face down at the bottom of the tank, and it appeared to be a body of a small female child. They waited for the East Tank battery to be offloaded into the tanker trucks, which took approximately 6 hours due to the oil being methodically drained into metal pans and then pumped into the tanker trucks through a filter. Almost all of the crude oil was removed from the tank. The rear manway covered the tank. The rear manway that covered the tank was removed. Members of the hazmat entered the east tank and recovered the deceased female child, later identified as Cece, who was the youngest. Cece was covered in oil, was wearing a pink nightgown, and could also be seen wearing a pull-up. God damn it. Oh my God, man. Once outside the tank, there was a doctor who patted her stomach area down with oil absorbent pads. Celeste appeared to have skin slippage and was... Hold on, you guys. And was wrapped in a white sheet and then laid inside of a body bag. After Celeste had been recovered, the CBI agent left the scene. Can you imagine? Just hearing this makes me feel so horrible for them. Can you imagine the CBI agent that freaking had to pat her down? Like Kennedy wears diapers, you know what I'm saying? Like, thinking about, like, the trooper tried to take a hold of her upper right arm and turn her over. He took a hold of her arm as the agent lifted her by the left arm, and they moved towards the manway. Hold on. This is freaking so crazy. Like, I literally just reading it is like, holy crap. I cry over like seeing Tyler and his sister on Teen Mom reunion. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like something like this. The trooper grabbed the left wrist and the shoulder area as the agent did the same thing on the right side. As the victim passed through the manway, her left hand... Her left hand was degloved. The trooper and the agent continued to support her body as she was placed in a contaminant pool. The agent retrieved the removed skin that was from the left hand and gave it to one of the gloved Frederick police officers. The agent and the trooper had moved up the dirt burn and put it on a table. They both walked away in approximately 4 inch of crude sludge and looked for anything else in the tank that could be evidence. They did not see anything in the sludge. They exited the tank. These men got in the tanks. When they drained most of the crude oil, these men got down in the tanks to get her out. They exited the tank at 3:44 p.m. and walked to the field behind the tanks to be decontaminated. someone from the Weld County Coroner's Office was on the scene and took control of the recovered body. Fire personnel sprayed them down, tried to remove as much crude oil as possible. They went off air at 3:46 p.m. Then they walked back over to their trucks and changed out of the PPP and back into lighter clothing to recover. The CBI agent continued to monitor their victim using a 4-gas monitor. At the Weld County coroner and pathologist attempted to remove the crude oil utilizing several crude oil absorbent pads. The first victim was placed into a body bag and taken to the Weld County coroner's vehicle. The second tank to the west had less crude oil in it and was pumped off quicker than the first tank. The trooper went to the top of the tank and looked in the hatch. He said he could see another body that appeared to be face up. The trooper took additional photographs. He also measured the opening, and it was approximately 8 inches in diameter. While the troop and an agent from CBI were donning the same PPE, which is, I guess, a certain type of suit, the other agents finished removing the manway door on the second tank. The Wiggins Fire Department personnel again charged a hose line and moved closer to the second tank by placing a piece of plywood and 2 hydrocarbon booms by the opening. The trooper and the agent went on air at 7:53 p.m. and made entry into the tank at 7:54. The agent went in first with the trooper close behind. They walked over and could see a small child's body face up. He grabbed her right arm near the wrist and moved her towards the manway. At this point, the trooper was able to secure the left arm and left leg. He and the agent then passed the body through the manway. The trooper grabbed the left wrist and shoulder as the agent did the same on the right side. As the victim was passed through the manway, the trooper and the agent continued to support her body as she was placed into a contaminant pool. During this extraction, there was some skin slippage where they had to touch the victim's body. There was also some skin on the plywood where her back made contact. The trooper and the agent walked around the inside of the tank. They exited the tank and walked over to the field south of the tanks. The body was turned over to the Weld County coroner. The trooper continued to monitor the second victim using a 4-gas monitor at the Weld County coroner, and pathologists attempted to remove the crude oil utilizing several oil absorbent pads. The second victim was then placed in a body bag and taken to the Weld County coroner's vehicles. Both bodies were decomposing and covered with crude oil. Wiggins Fire again decontaminated the two with hose spray and firefighting foam. They went off air at 7:56 p.m. The trooper and the agent then went back to their trucks and removed their PPE. They cleaned up and put everything away. The trooper and the agent changed back into their patrol uniform. The on-scene hazmat team continued cleaning up and putting equipment away. All of the contaminated equipment was gathered and placed in a large tarp. The Anadarko employee said he would make arrangements for a cleanup contractor to take care of the contaminated items. They cleaned the scene at approximately 8:45 p.m. It was said later that many of the people who worked on the rescue team to recover the 3 bodies needed therapy afterwards. Do you guys want to stop here, or do you want to do the autopsies? Hey, Elise. Anybody that joined just now, yeah. Yep. We're going to stop here. I'm literally gonna lose it when we get off here. Watch, I already can feel it. I'm like, um, I probably should have read this beforehand to like prepare myself for what I was gonna read. Oh, that's literally the worst thing ever is reading something like that. I don't know if I see smoke or what. My eyes are clouded or something. That is literally okay. So for any, if you're just joining for the Chris Whites, we're gonna stop at chapter 21. When we pick back up, we'll talk about the autopsies. I know people have said that I know there's a lot of sniffling. I've been sniffling anyways, and now with this, it's really like I'm trying not to cry. So I'm like, you know. Hey Lacey. So we'll pick back up. No, yeah, that's right. I really don't think I could have prepared myself, honestly. Even honestly, if I would have read this without you guys watching me, I know I would have been bawling my eyes out. I know I would have been. I can't even. Just reading that is like so freaking heartbreaking. Can you imagine those guys that got called to come out there? Like, they probably never in their wildest dreams knew what they were about to be, like, have to witness, you know? The autopsy is only 2.5 pages. Do you guys want to do the autopsies really quick? It's 2.5 pages, which is really like one big page. You don't want to hear the autopsy report? I'm confused because I've heard different things. I've heard that they did have oil in their stomach. They didn't. I just want to get over it, yeah. You know what? Let's lighten up the mood. We're going to stop right now. We'll pick up autopsy Wednesday. We'll do some more. Yeah. This is like, oh. I have heard different things, and I don't remember. It seems like I heard that they did, they didn't. I don't know. Hey, AMZ. So we're gonna stop with oh my goodness. No, I gotta stop thinking about it, or I am gonna lose it. Like it's oh my goodness, man. I am listening. I'm listening to oh, thank you. The Dr. Phil, The Devil Beside Me. I think that's what it's called. Is that what it's called, you guys? The podcast, The Devil, where he covers the Chris Whites. It's called like The Devil Beside Me or something. He is in prison, and I don't even remember where. I don't know if they even really exposed, like, if they've told that. Maybe Wisconsin, yeah. Wisconsin. Does he? Does Dr. Phil have inside information? Well, I know he, like, talks to the family a lot, and man, that family, I couldn't even imagine. Because, they know this. Like, I remember hearing Shanann's mom talk about how when her grandbabies were removed, their skin was coming off. I remember the mom talking about how no flights wanted to fly her grandbabies home for their burial because they were so flammable. Like, No, they're not gonna, like, a lot of times people don't stay in jail where they live. Like, I have a cousin that has been in and out of jail, like, since he was 17, and he's been in jail all over the place. Like, they hardly ever stay close to here. So we will pick back up at chapter 21, the autopsies. And hopefully, oh man, he's in federal, I'm sure. I would think. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. No, he hasn't been on Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil done a podcast where he just covered the whole thing and like told what happened. And Shanann's parents and her brother have been on Dr. Phil. The neighbor has been on Dr. Phil as well. But I did hear that like they have to like shut down um the unit that he's at or whatever when he has to go through. Do I believe in the death penalty? God, man. I mean, no, I mean, no, because God says vengeance is mine. Like, and we're not to kill. So, I know, like, in the Old Testament, it was like eye for an eye, you know what I'm saying? Um, but I don't know. I mean, there's a part of me that's like, a guy like him, he deserves to be dead. But then I'm like, you know, he will get his punishment. I know it. Yeah, I understand that. You know, her parents actually did not want the death penalty. They actually told the prosecutor, you know, do not seek the death penalty, please, because it's not up to us to take his life. Which I thought was, I couldn't imagine, man, I couldn't imagine, like Paris, thinking about Paris. When Paris grows up and she has kids, if somebody done that to her, there wouldn't have to be a death penalty. Because I would kill him. Like, as much of a Christian that I am, I think I would kill him. Like, I don't know that I couldn't. Yeah, her parents were way more gracious. Like, the mother and me thinking about somebody doing that to my daughter, I'm like, oh my God. I would literally, when a boy like breaks her heart, I'm like, what's his name? Where's he live? Give me his address. And she's like, Mama, Mama. And I'm like, no. Like, boys should not treat little girls like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like over the top with my kids. But I like I remember when I had Paris and the first time I held her, I remember like feeling like really happy and like so much love for her. But then I got scared because I remember thinking, she's gonna be hurt so much. Like, I brought this precious little thing into this big bad world, and she's gonna be hurt so much, just like I've been, if not worse. And I'm not gonna be able to protect her from it all. Like, and then I felt like so, like I was happy to have her, but I felt so much sadness that I brought something so special into this world that didn't deserve to ever be hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a weird feeling because I was like so in love with her. But then it was like to the point to where I was like, I don't want her to ever be hurt. Like, and I can't believe I brought her here where like people will hurt her. The world is just designed to hurt her. You know what I'm saying? Like, boys hurt. Like, everything hurts you. Um, yeah. Like, so it was a weird feeling. Like, it was the first time I held any of my kids. Like, I remember the same feeling. Like, I gotta protect them. I gotta protect them. I gotta protect them. But like being so like in love with them, you know. You're Daughter's damn pics with you in the middle of them giving them. Of course I got in the middle of them. And then Sean was looking at the pictures, and the little boy, in one of the pictures, the little boy like had his hands like right here on Paris, and Sean is like, why does he have his hands that close to her boobs? And I was like, Sean, calm down, like you're being a little too much. And he was like, no, his hands should have been down a little bit further. And I'm like, dude, come on. Like, he was taking the pictures, like, in front of people. This guy's, like, really shy. Like, he's not trying to touch our daughter's boobs with people sitting there looking at them taking pictures. Calm down. And he, like, texted Paris and was like, tell your boyfriend next time y'all take pictures, he need to lower his hands a little bit. Oh, thank you, Elise. She's my little mini me. But she don't act like me. She looks like me, but she does not act like me. She acts more like Flossie. She's like, well, she's not loud. She's super quiet. Like, she's very, very quiet, but she don't take no crap. No crap. Like, here, around people that she knows. Like, she will pop something off. Sassy as a mug. Exactly. That's what she is. I'm a helicopter mom too, and I can't help it. Like, even like my whole family, like, they know this about me. Like, they know that I'm super weird with my kids, and I just can't help it. Flossie isn't loud, she's animated. Is she here tonight? I don't think so. She may have been earlier, but I know she's still in the hospital with Abe. And like I said, they're trying to get him breathing more and more, like, on his own. So they're trying to lower his oxygen intake. Yeah, Paris will give you this thing. Like, when I try to take pictures of her or, like, record her, she's like, and I'm like, stop, you're like, you're pretty. And she's like, no, I'm not. Stop. And I'm like, you are so pretty. She's like, no, I'm not, Mom, stop. I'm like, well, you look like me, so yes, you are. Flossie's animated. We love and send love to Abe. Absolutely. My little man. I haven't got to see him in a little bit. Paris is 14. She's 14, going on 30. Yes, everybody pray for Abe if you believe in the power of prayer. If you are a prayer, pray for Abe. If not, just send him positive vibes. I'm gonna root beer. Not sponsored. I wished. We're not gonna stay on much longer, but what's going on? We'll talk for just a few more minutes. Any good gossip? No? I love root beer. Root beer. Ain't that how they're right? I don't know if I can do it. Hey, do my eyebrows look darker than normal? Cause I used a new I got the $1 billion brow thing. I don't know. No, I don't have any combos. When I went to the dollar store today, they were out. They still haven't got, like, restocked. Oh, only A&W. Root beer and combos. Yeah, my fave. Thank you, Allie Love. I definitely bought them all. I do like M&M's. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Aaron is on live. You guys, I'm just going to say this. I tried to, like, I don't know. Like, the way Aaron is talking to these females, it's not okay. Like, I get it. He's going through it. But, like, this one girl apparently called him a MFer. And she may have just been trying to catch his attention because she knew certain things catch his attention. Like, you can get on Aaron's lives and be like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Like, I've been watching you forever. Please go live with me. Please go live with me. And, like, it's never going to happen. But the second you say, like, Aaron, you're a BITCH, then he's like, bam, got you on a live. And he's, like, going off on you, you know? And I saw one live where, like, this girl, you could tell it devastated her. She was like, I apologize. And I really don't think she meant it as, like, right. You would think that Aaron would be used to this by now. Like, he's been famous for how long? Like, you're going to have people, no matter what happens, that are going to attack you. And you're constantly giving them, like, ammunition. You know what I'm saying? But, like, seeing him, like, I mean, and what's weird is, like, at one point the girl goes, and he goes, all you people that talk to me like that, I know who you're looking at. I know who you're looking at. And you're like, what? Who are you? Like, I'm thinking, who are they looking at? Like, who's there with them? And I think he meant, like, that they had maybe Nick or Backstreet Boys pictures up on their walls. Like, I don't know what he meant. But, like, I'm like, all these women are not Backstreet Boy fans, and they're just, like, trolling you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, I really feel like this girl done it to kind of capture his attention, because that's the only things that he will see is the negative comments. So I think she thought, let me capture his attention, and then when I get him on the live, I'll let him know, like, it was a joke, I was just playing. But, like, as soon as he gets on the live, he immediately goes to berating her. And I'm like, you know, right, yeah, I don't think he does. I think he does. He doesn't feel like he has anyone in his life and he can trust. And, too, like, there's something serious going on. He pulled a drunk driver over. Yeah. His mom, like, he goes and gets his mom who's relapsed, and, like, he brings her back, and then I think they get into it about something, and she slaps a dog, and he's, like, going live with these females and, like, just berating them and cussing them and calling them a bitch. Yeah, he's like 115 pounds, and it's like, there's something going on, you know, that's mentally, I think, and I just hope he gets help because he needs it, and he needs to be happy and healthy and, you know, living his best life. We all need to be. Like, we all need to be happy and healthy and living our best life. And when I saw him, and what really stuck out to me, one of the things was the fact that he's like, when the girl looked over, he's like, I know who you're looking at. I know who you're looking at. And she's like, who? And he's like, why don't you show me? And, you know, she's like, bam, like, turns the camera around. And she's like, no one. Like, even she was like, who am I looking at? Like, it made no, but it just goes to show you that, like, in his mind, he thinks all these women are, like, I think he was saying they're all Backstreet Boy fans and have Backstreet Boys posters all over the room. But who really has posters anyways, even if you are a fan? Do we really have posters of the Backstreet Boys still? No. So I'm just like, man, I don't think he deserves to be picked on because I think he's suffering from something. But it's hard not to talk about it because, like, there's so much going on with him. Yeah, I used to have posters too. But we don't anymore. I mean, I don't anymore. So, I don't know. It's just sad because anytime, like, a celebrity is, like, has an issue or has some type of mental illness, like, to talk about it is one thing, to just like talk about what they're going through or something like that, but to make fun of them is completely different. You know what I'm saying? Like, to mock someone because they're mentally ill or like that, like, I don't think we should do that because they don't really deserve that. Yeah, I think he does too. I think he said that on I think he said on Marriage Boot Camp that like he has like an eating disorder and his mom was like trying to get him to eat on Marriage Boot Camp and like he really wouldn't. So yeah. But I don't know, you guys. Like, I done a video on like Colin, Janelle's brother, one time, and I just like talked about a post that he made, and like there were people that was like, you shouldn't have done that, and I was like, but like they would leave comments in the comment section saying like, you know, he's like mentally, but at the time I really didn't know, like, because he had been on the show a couple times, and I never really seen like people had just said that he had issues. I even on the show he did not seem, you know what I'm saying? So he made a post. People asked me if I was going to do a video on it, and I did. And then people was like, you know, he's mentally ill. You shouldn't like probably shouldn't have done a video on him. But I was very respectful, and I said in the beginning like, I'm not, you know, picking on him. I'm just letting you guys know about a Facebook post that he put up. And even now, I'm like, should I have done it? I don't know. Like, which I talked to Colin, and he was like, no, you're fine. He wasn't mad about it. I did see that Andrew reached out to Janelle, but that was kind of like weeks ago when Janelle was like, hey, check your inbox, and they talked. Was it recently that they talked again, or? Because I remember like a while back. Hold on a second, you guys. Um, well, that's Love After Lockup, right? That's what I thought too. Riley and Jonesy, is I tried to be like respectful of it. Yeah, is Bam still doing like really bad? The Clinton Tracy, that's Love After Lockup, isn't it? Because I have a friend of mine that was talking to me today about them. I think it was okay. And I know she's like, this friend of mine, she knows them personally, and she's like, you know, if people report on them, I just want it to be done respectfully because they go through a lot. And I was like, I understand that. Honestly, I think it's better to report on people in a positive way than in a negative way. Well, thank you. I definitely try because I've made my mistakes. Like when I first started, I think I was a little harsh and judgmental on people. For one, because literally I'm not even thinking about these people as being like real people, even though we know they're real people, but who really thinks about that? We're thinking about, you know, right, sleep time and start time replay here. Um, like we know they're people, but like when I first started like covering them on YouTube, I was just thinking more about um, you know, their lives being entertainment for me. And really it's not. Like their lives are not just for my entertainment. Their lives are their lives and it's serious. And so while I can report on something, I still need to be conscious of how, if they were to see it, how would it affect them mentally, especially if they suffer from some type of mental illness. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, thank you. Well, I'm about to get off. I'm about to get off. It's like almost midnight. I know. Hey, but it's not that bad, huh, Matt? Is it that bad? Did I go too long? Um, I literally could talk all day. Honestly, like, um, I love you too. Oh, and I want to put out there, you guys, if you guys ever see somebody in my chat, any channel, anywhere, talking negatively about me, you don't have to defend me. I mean, if you feel like you want to, that's okay. I get it. Because I like to defend people that I care about. But I'm not gonna send anybody anywhere to defend me. I don't need, I'm grown, and if I want to defend myself, I can go do that. But like here lately, like it's been said to me that like I'm sending people to other people to defend me or to attack them, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna send anybody anywhere to defend me, to attack anyone for me. Um, but thank you, Juliet. I mean, the thing is I'm a grown person. All of you are grown people, and I've seen, people have sent me screenshots where they have defended me, and I'm like, well, thank you. But I've never told anybody to. I've never sent anybody anywhere say, hey, go here and defend me. I know, right? Um, but apparently, like, I guess because people do go offend me, people do go and defend me. It's said that I'm sending them to, or I'm sending people to go say things to other people when I'm not. I want you guys to know, if you ever see anybody attacking me, or if you ever see anybody saying anything about me that you don't like, you don't have to defend me. I'm not, like, I don't need anybody to, you can if you want, but I'm not telling you to. Um, and really, sometimes, considering the situation, it's not going to make things any better anyways. I don't know how I would force people to go attack anyone. I don't know. I'm not paying anybody. All of you guys are adults. I'm not telling my mods who they can and can't talk to. They're grown adults. I cannot tell them what to do. I'm their friends. I'm not their boss. Mods. What mods are left in the channel? Do I ever act like I'm your boss? Ever? Like, have I ever made you feel like I'm a boss? Because like, when I'm going to do something kind of big or whatever, I will literally ask their opinion. I always talk to them about things. I get their opinion a lot. And a lot of times, if their opinion is different than mine, but they all agree, I will take their opinion over mine to do things. So I'm not going to tell them they can't talk to somebody. They're grown. If they want to, that is their decision. I'm not going to tell any of my followers to go start crap with someone for me. I don't want crap started. I want crap finished, not done and over with, because I just love like doing what I do, and I don't like any drama behind it, except the drama that comes with like TV drama. You know what I'm saying? So well, thank you. Well, I know everyone here enjoys my lives. Well, there's people that watch. That don't say anything, but then if I say something that they think is like I'm referring to them, which I never have. I've literally never said anything referring to like to try to pick on or anything like that. But like the people that watch, for some reason, they think that I do. And if I tell jokes between my mods, like they just assume that it's about them. And I just kind of want those people that I know they watch That's okay that you watch. That's fine with me. Like, um, but just don't assume, because most of the time I'm not even thinking about that situation at all. Like, I'm just doing what I do, wanting to move on. And if it wouldn't have been brought back up recently, I wouldn't even be talking about it now, you know. But like, um, so I wanted to tell you guys while you were here, the 99 people, the 100 people I have in the chat, um, you guys don't have to defend me on anywhere if you see somebody talking bad about me. Now, you're an adult. You can make that decision if you want to. You can. But don't feel like you have to. Mods, same thing. Thank you. I want to thank you. So, you know, I just wanted to kind of put that out there. I don't tell my mods what to do. They can do whatever. They can talk to whoever. You subscribers, y'all don't watch just me. You know what I'm saying? So if you do go comment and defend me, it does get turned around that I sent you, and that you're my follower and you defended me. But I'm sure you're not just a follower of me. You know what I'm saying? You watch other people too. And but you guys are adults. I'm not going to tell you to attack people. I'm not going to tell you to even defend me, because like, though, what's crazy is like those, like, it's not even a thing to me. Like, I literally go days on end without even thinking of them or that situation, because I have too much other stuff to think about. I'm like thinking about my kids, running my channel, but then like I'll see a screenshot where somebody will send me, or somebody will contact me, and I'm just like, no, like, we're good. Let's move on. Like, you guys are good. I'm good. I'm not making jokes in my chat regarding y'all at all. If you hear jokes, don't assume it's about y'all. If someone contacts you, don't believe I sent them, because I'm not sending nobody. If I wanted to contact someone, I would do it myself. If my sister wanted to contact someone, she would do it herself. So I just wish people would kind of understand and not blame me for everything. Like, if somebody comes to them to talk to them, don't think that I sent them. If somebody defends me, don't think I told them to go defend me, because that's just kind of frustrating, because it's like, well, you keep things going, and it's like, how? Because so-and-so messaged me. I didn't tell them to, you know, like, come on, people, let's get with it. Let's continue with our lives. Let's be happy. Like, whatever you want to do, be happy. Let's just be positive and focus on positive and just keep it moving, because that's all I want. And when the day comes that I literally don't have to think about that situation ever again, will be the day that I'm like, yes, because I don't want to. I don't want to think about it. And I don't think about it until someone messages me, or someone like sends me a screenshot or something, and then I'm like, eh. Yeah, time is precious. So don't, you know what's something else that I have to say? Unless you have a job on YouTube that helps bring in money for your family, situations that happen on YouTube should not even be that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got into a spat with someone on YouTube and you don't run a channel where your name is out there and it could hurt your name, why? Don't let it run your life. Don't let it ruin your life. Don't let it cause you to be so upset that you're like stressed out about it, because it's literally not, like, YouTube is nobody's life. You know what I'm saying? So don't let negativity like ruin your days when you could be happy and positive and do positive things. So but yeah, I just wanted to put that out there to you guys, because I don't want anybody like coming to me saying that I'm sending people to attack them, or I'm, you know. And I will probably say this again in the next few streams, so the people that watch me can see, can get it, that I don't feel like anybody has to defend me. You're adults. If you want to, that's fine. But if not, you don't have to. And I'm not telling you to. I don't know why anybody would think that I'm sending them, but you know, I guess they have their reasons for thinking that, but I ain't sent nobody to talk to nobody. like I'm literally here trying to remember when my kids' IEP meetings is, and when my I gotta say, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not keeping up with. I'm not calling people and say, hey, go do this. Hey, go do that. Go do that. Like, it's not happening. Yeah, me running a channel and like this, like I am on like a little bit of a platform where, and Flossie does not send them either. Let me go ahead and put that up. First off, Flossie for sure, if she had something to say, she would call. If you guys don't remember, she called into a whole live stream to say something to someone. She's not gonna just send someone else. But it's honestly like it's kind of amazing to me. Like if I was just a watcher of YouTube where I just watched certain channels and like talked on the chat, if I got into a spat with someone on YouTube, like when when I put the phone down that night, the next day it would be a whole new like it wouldn't even be a thought. Like I would not go back to that person's channel or go find the people that I just got in a spat with to pick it back up. You know what I'm saying? Like no, like YouTube spats against people that I don't know, never gonna see, never gonna meet. Like it's not gonna like run my life. And I don't think people should let it because there's so much more you could do to be happy and be positive and you know, who wants to be upset all the time over something as silly as YouTube? Like I don't, and this is my job, and I learned really quick. Like there's been a few things that really like really bothered me and hurt me, and like literally I was having panic attacks. But I'm getting to the point now to where I'm like, I'll be okay. You know, it'll be okay. Like things are gonna hit me. Things are gonna hit me. I'm on YouTube. I'm growing. I'll have things. I'll have people that come out and say things. You know, and that's okay because I still have my people that know that who I am and they know that I'm not like, you know, like, so whatever happens, like, I'm just going to keep going with it and I'm going to shrug it off every time, and I'm going to keep going and keep going. This channel helps provide for my family and I enjoy doing it. You know, it got to a point where I didn't, because there was so much like craziness that went on with it. And I'm like, why is anybody this much involved with craziness, you know, or to like keep it going or like just always having it? Like, it didn't make sense to me because I'm like, I have my kids here that like, that's important to me, my kids. And yeah, my channel is important to me. But it should not, my channel should not be able to cause me to have panic attacks all day to where I can't even take my kids to a carnival because I'm so distraught about what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad you are able to get over it, AMC. It starts happening once you start growing. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you start growing, you get things to where you think, like, I want to quit. I want to quit. I didn't think this was going to happen to me. Like, I did not expect something like this to happen to me, and I'm going to quit. I mean, I thought several times about quitting, but now I'm like, if I quit, it's going to be because I want to. It's not going to, I'm not going to be made to feel like someone else made me quit. If there's a day that I say, you know what, I'm not going to do YouTube anymore, it's going to be because I decided that. It's not going to be because someone pushed me to make that decision. Right. Exactly, Kat. Flossie speaks for herself. Well, I really feel like all of that drama could calm down and settle down if everybody just realized, like, it's not that big of a deal. We're good. We're fine. Let's move on. Let's put our focus and our energy into something positive. Like, you know, mine's going to be like my kids in this channel and covering Teen Mom and trying to cover these topics and not be negative and like bash these people because it's, you know, you can kind of get in. Like, I remember when I was calling Janelle Lionel. She does fib a lot. But, you know, maybe I could have been a little easier on her. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to try to report things in a more positive way and be more caring about people and their feelings. Not going to say I'm not going to have little jokes here and there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to try to do it where it's not at another person's expense, you know? Um, well, thank you, Jennifer. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Everybody is stressed out about YouTube, and that's my thing. Especially if you don't have your own channel where you were, you know, your face is out there. If you're just a commenter, like the comments, you know, and you had a spat with somebody, like don't let it ruin, you know, the next few weeks of your life. Don't let it bother you so much that you're stressed out about it, because it's only hurting yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you're only gonna hurt yourself. Because as far as you know, the other person is like done and over with it, and that's kind of me. I'm like, I've been done and over with it. And the only time it gets brought back up is by other people bringing it up to me, and then I'm like, "Oh, here we go again. Come on, can we please just move past this? Because I don't want to keep, I don't want this brought up to me. Like I'm done. I'm good with everybody. Like I wish everybody well. I apologize more times than I can count, at least 5, you know, and that's all I can do, you know. And if apologies are not good enough, then maybe in time, like everybody will be okay. I don't know, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm not. I wish everyone well. Um, but anyways, you guys, I wanted to put that out there. Right, you're giving the person that pissed you off power to control your mood, and it doesn't make any sense. Exactly. Don't give someone so much power, especially like if I'm the person that pissed you off. If you're mad at something I done, you're giving me too much power over your mood. You know, like don't let me have that power, especially if I'm sitting over here still living my life and I'm fine. You know, like don't do that. Like take that power back. Be okay, and like be happy and be positive, because I want them to be happy and positive. I want me to be happy and positive. I want you guys to be happy and positive, and because it's not fun not being happy and positive. I mean, who really likes being mad? Yeah, right, exactly. You gotta like take that back and say, you know what, I'm not gonna let you keep me angry. Especially when you're over there still living your life and you're doing fine. And you're, you know, making money, doing what you do. And like the only time you do bring the situation up, it's still not in a negative way, you know. No, I'm not a Chris Watts pen pal lover. Absolutely not. We're not talking about Chris Watts right now, but we did talk about him earlier. There's a book that was written that is called Letters from Chris Watts, and the author actually corresponded back and forth with Chris Watts and actually put the letters in the book. So that's why the title is Letters from Chris Watts. I don't write Chris Watts. I wouldn't write Chris Watts. No. So, you guys, right. My honesty gets me in trouble sometimes, so it's frustrating to be called a liar and not believed, but I own my mistakes, and God knows who I am regardless of people try to try to label any of us as. That's my thing. That is something like, even if, you know, there's a handful of people in this community that thinks a certain way of you, or you think they do, don't let it kill you. Like, don't let that destroy you. Don't let that cause you so much anguish and pain. Like, you know who you are. If you think they think a certain way of you, but you know that's not who you are, then, like, be who you are, you know? And stop letting, you know, stuff like that bring you down. Thank you, Jennifer. That's true. She also had a lot of cover for David, which, yeah. I'm showing 52 likes. 50 likes. One of the best things I ever learned, what someone else thinks of you is none of your business. Makes sense, you know, I mean, because it'll cause you so much aggravation and stress if you're constantly thinking. That was something that I really like. It wasn't in those particular words, but I had to realize that there may be some people that think a certain way with me, but I can get on a live stream and at any point in time have 100 people, 200 people, 300 people on that love just hanging out and chit chatting with me. So if there's a few people that do think a certain way with me, like, that's okay, because I still have people that can see who I am, that love hanging out with me. So it's fine, you know. I am I'm 32. I'm from northern Louisiana, and this is not the way I normally sound. I have a cold, so I am sounding a little raspy. Yes, happiness is with you. A lot of people has seen me on it, has seen me on my mistakes. I've said on plenty of my live streams, I've said I made mistakes. I shouldn't have done certain things, and that's what it is. Hurting people hurt other people. Change my perception. Absolutely. Oh, that's cool. You're 32 as well. Even though we want everyone to like us, we can't please everyone. So not everyone is going to like us. That's true. So I have no desire to hurt anyone. I don't want to. That's not my aim here. I just want to take care of my kids and go on with my life and hang out with you good people. So clear that up. Thank you guys for listening, even though some of you are probably like, what? And I could go into it and like just blah, but I'm not going to, because it doesn't matter. And you know, it's not even that big of a deal. But for the people that are watching that think that I send people to them to say things to them, I just want you to know that's not the case. I never would, not going to, and I haven't. All right, so GJL777, we're not gonna be here much longer. I'm gonna end the live stream because I need to get to bed. All you guys gotta get to bed, but you can rewind this stream, and I did actually go over chapter 19 and 20 of the book Letters from Chris Watts. I do have a Twitter. I have a Twitter. I have an Instagram. What? Thank you, Brittany Cleland. Am I saying that right, Cleland? Thank you, Kat. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. My Instagram name is Michelle Bass. MESHELLBASS. Tomorrow we're going to do Teen Mom 2. And if we can, we'll do Young and Pregnant. If not, I don't want to wear my mods out too much. So thank you to everyone that hopped on tonight. On your way out, if you enjoyed the stream, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And make sure your notifications are on in case I do get to go live tomorrow, which probably won't, because Kennedy don't really allow that. But if I do, make sure you have your notifications on. And I will for sure be live tomorrow night. So goodbye, everyone.